I was going to say give it a few minutes.
Yeah.
Usually people trickle in a little later at 10 o'clock.
Oh,
looks
you
like
know
we got a
what?
beautiful day out there.
Yeah, this is 10:10. That's what I was.
No, it's
Okay,
10,
yeah,
and that's
okay,
1 minute
okay.
fast, so it's right at 10
Yeah, okay. I
o'clock.
need to reset this
But
one.
that's all right. Just everybody realize, and I'm only talking to one, which is we're now live, Mike.
It is a nice day. Wow.
Yeah, I think it's. I don't think we have to worry about a freeze anymore.
No, I think we're good.
I was holding out
You know.
just to see if there would be another one, but no. I'm like, all right, it's time.
No, boats are starting to come out on the water. There's the fishermen. It starts with the fishermen.
I'm hearing motorcycles leaving work all over the place. It's gonna be a nice day. Wow.
That it is. I know this weekend in particular is rodeo weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
So we made it out late last night, and people who are having a full day today would be my bet. Oh,
Good day to be working outside. I think that's what I'm gonna do when I get out of here.
we've got the Fireman's Award banquet
this
tonight,
evening,
as
yeah.
well as the Space Center Rotary has the League for Mankind.
That's right.
It's a tribute to our space history. It's a gala. A lot of galas lately.
Yeah.
At St. Thomas, the Rotary. We had Quasar. We might want to just get started.
Okay.
About 5 after now.
Okay.
If there's anything you want to have, discuss.
No. I'm not prepared.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right.
All right. You may start off, Mike?
I'd start off.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. So we've got a lot of good things going on. We got crepe myrtle trimming kicked off this week, and starting at the entrances of the city, trying to make it look good. And then after that, we'll start branching off to the medians. But everything is looking good. It's going to take a little bit. We're trying not to be the crepe murderers and just cut them. So the guys are really working on them. We reached out to the garden club for some advice because guys are kind of scared about trimming them back too much. So
they're pretty resilient trees.
Yeah.
I got into trouble from a friend.
Yeah. There's a lot. When I started looking it up.
Did you actually murder it, or did you just butcher
You're
it?
not supposed to trim it straight across the top.
Yeah.
My tree guest did, and she yelled at me, and now I just have to trim the sides so it doesn't touch the house. People feel very strongly.
It's so
Yeah,
funny
they do.
because you got both sides of it that say, don't touch it, have it like a tree, things like that. And then the other ones that says be like Jack the Ripper, come in there and just chop it way down and all those suckers and everything like that, and train it.
Yeah. They finished up 2 concrete pours, one for the new water fountain at David Braun Park, one toward the end of the peninsula, going probably about 100 feet before you get into the peninsula. We'll have the brand new water fountains, and they're all ADA compliant. Yeah, that's one thing we'll make sure that we're good. We've ordered. Come on in.
There, come on in. Please have a seat.
How you doing?
Good morning. Where do you live in the city? I don't think we've been introduced before.
I met you a couple of weeks ago. Yes.
Phil Johnson.
My name's Andy Todd.
Hey, Andy, nice to meet you.
I have my son Nathan.
Hey, Nathan, nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Hey, Candace. Are you one of his, or are you guys together?
Oh, no,
Hey.
Siblings.
How you doing?
Just
All three in the family.
And there's some coffee back there too. Y'all.
Sure.
Y'all like some coffee?
Yeah.
And then
Sarah. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
we had a really good infrastructure meeting this week, along with the parks meeting, and then doing some electrical work on Harbor Drive, put in a new light out there that was kind of tore up. Doing some drainage work out at the on Space Park. We're gearing up for that. About 200 feet of 8-inch drain line with some new concrete. Work right there in front of the Moody Neuro building, and then we got a storm line behind Gloria Day that through the years has kind of come down about 4 inches. So I think they've got that demoed. I think they're going to be. They may have poured last night. Well, yesterday evening. I should say last night. And then the art monument, we've got the contractors mobilizing on Monday, and then they will start tearing that down Tuesday. And so just
How much is that gonna cost? Tear down the the big one?
Yeah.
About $15,000.
about 15,000.
We got a PO for 20.
And we ripped out the we removed the electrical work and all the boxes and everything, and then we're going to actually take the lights out of that, and the fire department wants to use them and maybe light up the fire department. So
I liked the Christmas lights they did.
yeah, they did a good job
But
there.
just to help you out a little bit, because that's a good question. We've actually slowed down to make sure we looked at all the options for the monument, and right now it's more expensive to try to get it to work. That's only of what was assessed before. We know the Lord's broken. So the view was of what we knew was broken was about $30,000, maybe 35. It was beginning to strobe, so we believe a master board was done. We had both NASA and TxDOT request that we shut it down because we couldn't control the lighting on it, and it was considered a safety hazard. So there's probably about $50,000 worth of just maintenance repair for that, and it's about 20,000 to take it down and start over. So
Are they taking the base off too?
Yep.
they are.
Yeah.
The reason we're doing that is right now there's a height restriction to be able to have Welcome to Nassau Bay. So the money spent on there does not allow us to say, duty name on it. It has to be lower than 20 feet in order to be able to put your city name on it. And we really want to have an entryway into Nassau Bay that actually lets people know you're in Nassau Bay. That's why we do the trees. That's why we light the trees. That's why you see the attention to the beautification and elevating the aesthetics of the city, because we want people to know when you're in Nassau Bay versus the other cities, because we want to be the center of Clear Lake. So that's the thought.
Yeah, I do you mind interrupting 1 second?
Oh, no, this is yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Andy Tab, and these are my family, Candace and Nathan. We own the strip center that hosts Java Owl and Hakimi.
Oh yes.
That's awesome.
See, you're good friends with John, so.
Yeah, it's such a blessed to have both of them stay there for.
I even hear rumor, and I'm even guessing why you may be here, but keep going.
First of all, we want to take an opportunity at least to introduce ourselves to the city. We've been here for like almost 20 years.
Yeah.
20 years at the city. We see a lot of very positive change around the city. Earlier, we were here like about half an hour earlier. So we thought the building is not ready yet, so we took the opportunity to go around the back. I was glad I didn't make more often than now. It's a beautiful area.
Yeah, it is.
It has grown so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has grown so much. They were here when they were how old?
We were probably like this tall.
Oh, is that right?
Go to this specific area that's like.
Do you live here in Nassau Bay, or you just own the strip center in Nassau Bay?
We own this strip center.
Yeah. Okay.
Friends.
Still a citizen.
Mr.
Just a business
Why
citizen.
not?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we are really good friends of his family, and then quite a few that we know in the neighborhood, but many of them had, unfortunately, but memory still.
I know, I was going to say, but rest in peace. Yep,
So. Yeah, it's been 20 plus years. So.
Yeah.
So it's a quiet time.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
just so you know, this is very informal. This is not a open meetings where we have restrictions on different things or kind of protocols. It is meant for information so there can be a dialogue.
And it's also live too. So
it is
that for people that can't make it, they can watch.
And I've heard rumor that there is potentially some sewer issues that you might need help on.
yeah,
Is what I understand. Mike, is that a correct statement?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes.
We have some real good tenants in our area who we like to keep them in place.
Mm-hmm.
So we continuously try to improve the center. We recently just installed new lights. At nighttime it's brighter, and we wash the whole center, clean it all up, and recently we just do the sewage.
So what I understand, and I've had two people approach me that says that you guys may be coming to the city, which is I believe they commingle process the way in which it was originally developed, not that what they built, but what was really originally developed.
Okay.
Commingles processed water and sanitary water. So
Okay.
that they get your the grease, oils, and fats, things along that line through anything they're
So
going.
the storm, their storm is tied into their sanitary.
I believe it is. Yeah. So there's commingling, which with fats, oils, and stuff like that for that, because there's food service. There's one even a fairly decent restaurant that has quite a bit of turnover. Plus you've got the Java Owl. Plus niche, a number of things. So.
Okay.
And what they found, I think, going through there is that they had a blockage, but when they had the blockage, it had pressure. It was pressurized, so it was
Came up.
Yeah. So they may have some.
Okay.
We may want to try scoping something or.
Yeah, we'll definitely look on our end. Do y'all typically on like preventive maintenance annually? Y'all jet y'all lines? Y'all jet?
Yes.
Okay.
We do as often as needed.
Okay.
Because our goal is to make sure the tenants are happy.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
It's just this is it's the family here.
Yeah.
Consider our tenant not just tenant, just part of
all of
you.
Yeah.
Correct.
It's a family. Everybody.
You guys stuck it through COVID, and people on TV should know that all your tenants basically, and that there was a community of folks that really pulled together so that everybody made it, and that's not a common story.
Yeah, we are very blessed. It is something we're very proud of. We do help the tenants. But most of all, they determined to stay with us. That's
good.
That's why we always try to do something to improve, to make sure that we not interrupt their business.
Yeah.
Like sewage situation, it just you don't want to run a business and worry about a sewage.
Oh no.
I actually understand as they were doing the expansion of Java Owl. This came up with the expansion of Java Owl, right?
Yes, sir.
So John bet my ear for you guys.
Thank you. Yeah.
Plus another citizen.
John is very helpful. I think he's very motivated. I don't know if you've been to Java.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I've been to all those places. That's true.
And everybody,
Yeah.
we go in just it's like a brother and sister.
Yeah, it is.
It's just like let's see, we all need to stay together, stay cool. I take care of it. If it's a little problem, I take care of it. Do the best I can. Take care of it. Recently, we have a situation with some Falcons. Java going to have the.
Yeah, Mary Johnson's expansion.
the expansion. So the city's helping with that, just so you know, as a owner of that strip center, you're the beneficiary of John's business expansion that the city, from the economic development standpoint, is helping fuel.
Yes, sir.
So
the city does a lot of work for the community, not just us. I think not only does us expanding, like McDonald willing to relocate from that area, that's our city.
And bring the astronaut back.
Exactly, and bring the astronauts back.
You know, I still don't know how he eats the French fries in space.
He knows something. Nathan is what do you do, Nathan?
Oh, I also work across the street at ASC.
Oh, do you work? Nice, nice. On the Artemis program?
Oh, yes, it's a for the Artemis program.
Yeah, nice.
And so hopefully we'll get some people back on the moon before long. And then,
Yeah, we just landed a spacecraft, an unmanned one, right? So yeah, and it's down on the south side. They're looking for ice, like my understanding.
Yeah, we need to explore something. We need to I think at least keep NASA going. That's very important. Because we cannot sit idle and everybody pass us.
I agree. I agree.
We're supposed to be the first, not the follower.
But I'll say this for your strip center, and I think Sarah would agree with this too, and I know Paul does, is that's kind of become a community center where people come just to meet people, just to sit there, have a cup of coffee, or have a little breakfast, or have a meal, and meet up with people. A lot of people in town come to that strip center.
Yeah, that's
It's like, it was our goal, kind of, I guess, like when we started to have this community and like a place when John joined us, and like everything's been like from like the small coffee shop, and then now it's like John's, and like everyone in between, and the communities. Like it's really nice to kind of see that, like you said,
It is
a community center.
Yeah, it is.
Everyone to join us. Kind of that's what my dad was saying earlier. Is we want everyone to have a really good experience there, like come in and find it comfortable and relaxing. One thing that's been brought up to us before is that sometimes people are running out of assistant work.
Yeah.
They come in, they're like, all right, I'm gonna meet my friends here at like 10 a.m. or 11 a.m.
I think you know the owner who could help out with it.
That was kind of something we were talking about before as a family, as we're trying to see everything continue to grow and encourage more people to come and see like NASA Bay and NASA and everything.
I would tell you you did a little bit, but this has become not only a golf cart community, and you can fit more golf carts in the same area than you can vehicles. And I think people don't bring their golf carts as much as they can, because there's no like real designated area except that one spot.
I was gonna say, there's the one.
That's what well, they've also got that trailer. I mean, the contractors are doing the work there, so that's kind of taking a few spots. But you may take that just end and just turn it all into the golf cart. But I don't know. I shouldn't.
John also mentioned a lot of our customers coming from the back, the community plus the adjacent business. They walk across the street.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned about, is it possible that we can, what do we call it?
Facility kind of crosswalk.
Is it
A crosswalk?
Actually,
Or sidewalk.
a sidewalk.
Yeah. So we were.
Yeah.
This is you're bringing up great issues, and with some of this we talked yesterday. We do this coffee both in the morning, Friday at 9:00, and that's probably why you thought maybe 9:00.
Oh, exactly.
But on Saturdays we let people sleep in a little bit, so we do it at 10:00. But right now there's quite a bit of interest to make sure that we deal with speeding in town, because we have a lot of people who walk. And my things that Paul and I have been talking about is on certain throughways, they're larger streets than the typical residential ones, that we should actually, if there's not a sidewalk, we should put on the roads a striping or painting to do a demarcation between pedestrians and golf carts, or pedestrian bicycles and vehicles, so that it's just safer, and that would allow that to happen. Some of it is even like along Point Lookout, across from the church, versus there, looking at how we might do that and how we control parking, which is always an interesting topic in Nassau Bay. There are people who are, vocally for and vocally against having as much street parking as we have. So, but your comment is right, and Paul is really pushing to put in, repaint and make sure we have all our crosswalks. And if you're looking at a crosswalk right there across from the administration building, right at your location, because there is a sidewalk on that side of the street, right? So that they could walk on that sidewalk and then come across into your driveway is kind of what I'm thinking. Or, you don't want to block your driveway, but you'd want it in that vicinity.
Yeah, and more safe that way.
Yeah. And we're also looking at maybe putting one, when the Moody Neurological, if people start visiting there, they may want to walk to McDonald's. So we're thinking about trying to put something where they can safely cross Nassau Bay Drive and get to McDonald's or all the restaurants.
Actually, they really want to go to Kimi niche marketing and
but just, put something down through there. Yeah.
There were accommodations that just big city, the secret would go a hidden jewel in Nassau that I just earlier, like, wow, if we can get the tourists to somehow explore our city and then visit our business.
I believe over the next 10 years, your location is really going to become a prime location. We've got the development of the Margaritaville Resort that's just down the road. On the other side, across the bridge, there's going to be the Great Wolf Lodge. Yeah. And then there's also a $250 million Texas A&M investment in the Space Center Houston in order to create lunar and Martian environments for the specific purpose of facilitating manned habitation of celestial bodies other than Earth. You know about that, right? Yeah, correct. There's also a Sports Illustrated. We've got a lot of interest in some of our older buildings to redevelop. So I believe you're going to find that this area is going to become even a bigger destination, and for what you were saying, the pundits or the ones who they say, you really need 3 destination points for people to spend more than just a day or spend just one night. And we had Space Center Houston and the Kemah area, but now if you add, the things like Margaritaville, Great Wolf Lodge, sports, you're going to have people who will visit those areas, but may stay at our hotel and want to frequent at the shops. They're going to explore a lot more of the area because they'll end up spending a week here, or a 4-day weekend rather than just driving in, driving out. And I think that'll benefit all of the business community in Nassau Bay.
We just located right in the heart of Johnson Space Center.
You are.
This is
the
best. We have the best opportunity.
Yeah.
Even Kemah is, people coming to Johnson, they would first think about Johnson Space Center before they think about Kemah.
Yeah.
Especially tourists.
Yeah, that's the hierarchy. They think Johnson Space Center and Space Center Houston, and then Kemah. In fact, I saw some data that in the last 2 years, Space Center Houston has been #1 tourist destination for all of Houston. More people come to Space Center Houston than the Kima Boardwalk, more than, you know, the Rockets, more than the Texans, more than it. They have the largest number of visitors for Houston tourism.
I believe that when I like talk, so a lot of my coworkers are international and like
Mhm.
medical center, and every time they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" I'm like, "Oh, I live near NASA." They're immediately like, "Oh, yeah, that's great. I know exactly where that is."
And did you tell them your business is actually in a city that has the largest number of existing or past astronauts as residents of our city?
Yeah. That's always like something.
You know?
That's amazing.
You have to try to get them down here and then like try to throw them around so we can offer them, oh yeah, this is what you can come over here.
It's
And
funny.
in the future, they'll know where to go.
We're looking into that. There's definitely quite a heritage, and we haven't exploited that to the best that we can. But you're right. I agree with you.
Yeah, they've been kicking around ideas like maybe have a map of the, you know, the astronauts and code. You know, they could, you know.
And on that, they'd have like audio and visual of stuff. We're going to try in one location. I don't know if you know, but we've got moon trees that are here in town, and we're going to be dedicating 2 more. And we're thinking of a walk of the astronauts, but with every resident who's, you know, either walked on the moon or orbited the moon as being recognized. And there's like 17 of them. And so we want to get a whole, and we want to put a QR code so that people who are coming, they could, with the devices today, you can see video, you can see pictures, you can do everything through the QR code. And we're going to try that for that one location and see what happens. So it's pretty neat. So
That's awesome.
well, you've got a couple of things here. I really appreciate you coming, and we can talk some more. But you've got a couple of things I want. I know Sarah's here to hear some of the stuff, and
Thanks.
you'll hear quite a bit of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's what this is for.
Yeah.
You know, that's what this is for.
We've got some, hopefully some improvements to the park, David Braun Park, the basketball court. Have y'all been down to the park, the big park down there?
The big park.
Yeah,
Would you buy?
Okay.
Yeah.
You
By
need
the
to-
lake.
Yeah, by the lake.
By the
Yeah,
lake.
you need to
Lake.
stop down there. Yeah, it looks really nice. It's if you hadn't had a chance to visit, but we're turning the full court into a half court. You know, during times when adults are playing back and forth, we turn it in half court, then the kids can play on half the court, and kind of, you know, it's just it gets really crowded down
He
there.
always describes what he's going to do. So let me help him out, all right? Because he does a great job.
That's a good idea.
He was able to get an insurance claim, so we're going to resurface the whole floor with the proper coating to have that. We had somebody who was visiting decide to take their vehicle and try to go 60 miles an hour in place and put a rubber slick that just destroyed the current coating. So since it was an act of vandalism, we got an insurance. But while we're doing that, we're going to replace every single backboard, every single rim. We're doing that. We are really cleaning up and making sure all the structures that hold up the backboard are cleaned up, painted, maintained. So we're doing things for the next 20 years, and this is our opportunity to do it. At the same time, we have, you know, it's a covered full basketball court. I mean, big full one, and we have six backboards. The 2 tall ones are at either end of the full court, right? And the smaller ones for the kids are everywhere else, so it's on the sides. So if there's a tournament or if there's something there with the adults, the kids can't really play it. The court is big enough so that if you just take half of it and put the ones on the ends of the hat, they can still play full court, back and forth, or 5-on-5. It's just not a huge court like NBA court, right? And because it is like the same size as that, but they can do. And then so that's where the 2 10-foot ones are going to be. Instead of like this, it's like this, and then the one here and all the ones over on this side by the road are all going to be what do you put them at, 7 foot, 6 foot?
Yeah, I think there's 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
Seven,
so for the kids to play, and that way they can both use the facility rather than one group or the other monopolizing it. So, and that's what's going to get a really nice facelift going down there on the pavilion.
And the pickleball, we're going to look at adding a pickleball court or maybe 2. The Parks Committee's looking into that. It's really taken off. A lot of people play pickleball. So looking at that, you play pickleball?
Oh, I played that.
Okay.
At the park?
Oh, I played at a different park over here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah.
Clear Lake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I think we have 2 now. I think they're trying to squeeze in maybe 2 more, but for
Yep.
sure 1 more.
Duplicate
Yeah.
what we have.
And at the same time, getting additional lighting out there. We're transitioning. We have I think 34 huge tennis lights on the tennis courts. And so we're slowly phasing those out, getting brand new LEDs. They last longer. They're a lot brighter. So everything we're doing, we're transitioning to LED, and it's just hard to get the old high pressure sodium lights and stuff like that. They're not even selling that no more. So we're going to be visiting other cities and looking at the latest and greatest of the restrooms. So we're trying to look at getting a good price, maybe demo that old restroom and go with the new.
I don't know when that was built, but it sure looks like it's from the 60s, 60s vintage.
Yeah. Hey, vintage is in. Vintage is in.
White cinder block.
Yeah. And so we're looking at all that, see what the latest, nice restrooms are out there. And then the speeding you talked about, the police chief has been doing a really good job, him and the streets at putting in maybe 15 to 20 additional speed limit signs around the city. And also maybe with the solar flashing light, some of the areas that we know people speed at. So we're trying to, and PD has been really cracking down. So if you speed, you're getting a ticket. Yeah. And so
It's 25 miles per hour.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Throughout the whole city.
Our community is so small, it doesn't take more than 2 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Going
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
It's not that bad
not.
to do.
It's not. Our problem we've got, again, just we have people who cut through the city during rush hour, which creates an issue. And then there's just I'd even say some we have some roads that are look like they should be two cars going each way. People view that as a road that should be 30 or 35 miles per hour, and it is not. And we don't have sidewalks on it, so it's a safety one. So I think we've gotten a little too casual of speed limits. So we're pushing to say no. We want people. We've got too many kids coming in that we want to make sure that they can walk through the city without safety concern.
Other things at the park, looking at putting in a gate to lock the park at night. That way, for security reasons. And then Washington, the guys did this last week. The park really looks good. They got it right in time for this weather. The palm trees, I know you've seen the palm trees lit up. Yeah. We had them looked at by an arborist just to make sure they're good. And so everything checked out really good. Getting all the price in to install lighting on the new ones. We have 10 coming in this way, 10 coming in on the west side. So
They're already in.
Yeah, they're already in, but the lights, we just need the lights. It's just expensive. So we're looking at a whole bunch of different things, nice things for the city. I speak with the other actors and stuff, and they're really jealous of how our trees look. And so they look really good. And then, during holidays, President's Day, 4th of July,
Valentine's Day.
Everything changes. Yeah.
Don't
And
leave out
even,
Valentine's.
can't leave out.
I was thinking about this celebration. I was thinking about inviting a Chinese dragon dance sometime for some kind of events that we.
It'd be fantastic.
Bringing the different atmosphere to the city.
It would. And that's very festive. That's very festive.
They did it 2 weeks ago at the Freeman Memorial Library.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
So
do you think that's a good?
The kids, my kids went over to it.
Yeah, I really believe that would be a good festive, unique, what I would even say here is this, believe it or not, it is, but it's been downplayed because of some of the tensions in the world that we're sister cities with Star City, Russia. And we used to have a Russian festival and all the things because Star City, Russia, and right across the street, lots living here, were the only two manned space flight training facilities in the world at the time. That's not the case anymore. And with some of the things going on, there's not really been a desire to give visibility to that. But there's other, and I'm just going to say is the Far East, whether it's Japan, whether it's India, whether it's China, things along that line. That I've seen a higher interest. You just mentioned it, where people just enjoy seeing the festivities for each of the different cultures. So I would definitely say that would be a good idea. And that's probably something the city could help make happen too, if we had the right organizers. Volunteers, they're called, Andy. Volunteers. Hint. I'd like to introduce you to somebody. These are the business owners of the strip center for Java Owl.
Oh, right.
Right? That's correct. James Abbey is a councilman. He sits up on council, so he's one of the representatives for not only the residential community but the business community. They don't live in Nassau Bay, but they operate and own property in the business community.
So yeah, I can tell you that. So downtown, off of Westheimer, we went down. They had the Chinese New Year's, and they had the dancing and the dragon dance and some other things that were really interesting. But it's down in the district, the business district right down there. It was really cool. It was a good turn. It was a really good turnout. And to the mayor's point, this Houston is the most international place, more so than New York City. And with that, the diversity of people that come through for oil and gas and for the space program, that diversity makes it so unique. You can run into anybody from anywhere. And
Exactly.
So the more like that, the merrier, I think.
Yeah.
But coming back to some of the stuff because I really do like to toot the horn of what the folks at the city hall are doing, or the city staff. It's been a target to upgrade and return a lot of the trees that had been killed over the last 20-25 years. I mean, the most obvious one, because we light them up, is the medjool that are there. But we're putting in 16 that are going to replace trees that we've lost over 20 that just have not been replaced. So we're really pushing to have the past aesthetics and the beauty of the city reestablished, and that means you got to put in trees. The city staff has pulled out over the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, about 6,000 dead bushes, and we've planted about 4,500 to 4,800 live flowering bushes. So if you've noticed, the city definitely has color again, definitely has live landscaping, and it's manicured. And that's why you're seeing all the tree trimming, the crepe myrtle trimming, the trees, because we want to make sure our north-south entryways from streets, curbs, landscaping, trees is all brought. That's the area of focus for us. So it's kind of like our shingle to the world. So we're really trying to upgrade that. So it's that you're in Nassau Bay, and I think it's worked.
Yeah, and we typically street sweep twice a year, right before 4th of July, and then right before Thanksgiving, so the streets look good. So we're going to 4 times a year now. We're going every quarter. So so everything along with the curb cleaning and everything else. So hopefully everything will start coming into play really nice and looks good. The streets look really great, really good right now. So,
Yep.
Hey, speaking of the entryways, you mentioned that they're going to take down the monument on Tuesday so they can start building. What are they putting there?
So right now, that's my understanding is that the folks who are on that landscaping and the beautification up there are wanting to put forward options that has not been finalized yet. So I've seen renderings that are some that I think people will like, and some that will like it as much as they like the monument. If I could be so bold, Sarah. But it is not certain. I do know
Present those options?
they're going to have to. They're going to, because there's going to be a really nice feature like that. It's going to be $250,000, and it's going to be hotel motel tax. So there's that. But I think what I've heard is people are going back to the original, and it was done right at the Y2K, if I can go back that far, when that whole plan up on Nass Road 1 was put together, is they wanted to have matching, entryways both on the east and the west side of town, so that it matched, so it had a kind of uniform look. So I say that because the side by the Hilton is real easy to put. There's a lot of space over there. On the other side of town, where the Parkway, touches down, it is not so easy.
Right.
It is cramped, to say, and cramped is being gracious. It's very tight. So I think it's what's really going to be domino or the cross we have to bear is, what are we going to do on the west side of town coming in off of Nassau Road 1? Because there's just not a lot there, and it's going to be it's.
And then we don't have any electrical, so we're getting pricing now for the electrical to light up the palm trees, but also a stub out for any future new signs, so we don't have to absorb that cost.
Well, since that corner over there is, what is it, like Pasadena? Where the monument is? What is it technically?
No, I think it's technically, I believe, Johnson Space Center, and
I know,
it is.
but like what city does it belong to? I don't think it's
What I've heard
Uh-huh.
is, and I'm not saying this is right,
Yeah.
NASA is federal property. So the Johnson Space Center and all property was ascertained by the federal government back in when 1960, and it belongs to no city.
Okay, because I thought we had to get like a partnership or something with
So
different cities to do the monument.
So what we have is an interlocal agreement that was done back at that time there, which says we are responsible for the aesthetics, not the street, Nassau Road 1, because that's $1 billion street. There's no way,
Yeah, I just meant on the other side.
No,
Like
that's
Nassau
what I'm
Bay is
saying.
this side.
So if you look at it, there was an agreement between the Johnson Space Center, Webster, Pasadena,
Yeah.
Nassau Bay,
How did Pasadena get all
because they're, I believe the actual property delineation at that location is the waterway. And I've heard from somebody else that there's a little piece of Pasadena over there, but it's really the waterway, because
It goes. So
the
well, my
amoeba.
question is, moving forward, do we have to get their permission for those things like we did for the monument, or not? We just.
So it depends on
Where we put
it.
it.
Depends on where we put it.
Yeah.
If we decide to put it in the exact same location, the Johnson Space Center is going to have to sign off on it.
Yeah.
And the other one is there's another party. Forget about the municipalities. There's an organization called TechStop that has a huge say because of the size of that road that's there. So
we put anything in the center, it'd be TxDOT approval through them, and anything where we were would be
Yeah.
NASA.
But we are the municipality that has jurisdiction to be the ones who propose and maintain the look of Nassau Road 1. We made sure we preserve that it's a Harris County responsibility for that road, or the state for that road. Because we did not want to annex that road.
I take care of all the oak trees and everything in the center. All
Yeah.
belongs to Nassau Bay.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, so
And we
Yeah.
did that. We actually, not to belabor stuff, but when we put it in, TxDOT did a matching fund for every plant. So those modules, originally back in like 2000, when it was put in, were only like 2,000, 2,500, of which they paid for half. We put in 147 modules, died because they weren't of the real hardy style, all of which died in the main freeze. But it only cost about $150,000, $160,000 to put all those in. Today, those are $6,000 trees. You know,
They were 13.5.
minimum.
They were 13.5.
You know, they come to, and these are a variety that we did a lot of research that can stand up to 14 degrees, Fahrenheit for 5 contiguous days. And that's why we had 18 degrees for 7 days that it was able, we didn't lose one. These are very different genetic variety of the jewels than what was put in 25 years ago.
Don't forget the insurance for it. Too.
Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, we have the leadership position to be able to make that corridor what we feel needs to be done, just as long as we have to get buy-in with others, because like TxDOT and NASA, when the monument started really going wacky, they came in and said, we've got a safety issue. It's a main corner there at Space Center and NASA Road 1, shut it down. They didn't, they had problems with that. So what else you got?
I think that's it on mine. Installing some new signs, some keep signs, getting about 4 of those ordered. So just doing a lot of cleanup, just making sure all the signs look good. We've switched to all reflective signs instead of the generic dull signs. Everything has the engineer prism reflective on it. So we're kind of sticking with that. That way you can, and on our stop signs, we actually do a red border around it that reflects too. So we're trying to really bring awareness to, don't speed in Nassau Bay. So we're dropping in some more signs. Yeah. So don't speed when you leave here.
just here, if you want to be some things, like I've got a couple of extra ones just there is that I think is important for people to know. Every year we have a beautification day.
Oh, yeah.
And it's on March 30th this year. And I also know, because that's, I think, also the Easter weekend, they're doing a planning on the following weekend too. I don't think people looked at the calendar. It's led by our garden club, and it's also done in coordination with our Parks and Recreation Committee. And the neighborhood comes out, we plant plants on anything that was damaged in the winter, doing a seasonal variety, things along. So we have a beautification day in the spring, all sweep in the fall, where we change out the plants based off the season of the year. What works in the 105-degree bright sunshine of Houston, as well as the colder temperatures and the cloudiness during the winter. That's March 30th. And anybody, because I got to make sure we're here. The first 100 volunteers will get a free T-shirt. That's for helping out. And Diana Clark is the main one. And hey, I got an email from her too. I want to talk to you about. Okay. But the phone number, if you want to participate, if you want to help do things, again, is Diana Clark at 281-507-3387. Again, for those writing, it's 281-507-3387. Diana Clark. That's with the Garden Club. The other, as a business owner, we've just put in a new tool called the Flock System for our police, which is a fancy way of saying it's a license plate reader, so that if anybody has a warrant or some sort of public background, which is criminal, we know when they come into our city. And it also allows for if somebody witnesses a crime and they can't really see the license plate, but they can make out it's a blue SUV on Point Lookout or something along that, then the flock system can identify the license plate, and we have better control. In fact, we had a recent win here where we had a citizen's vehicle stolen, and we because of the readers of the people who stole the car and knowing the vehicle itself, we were able to get it back in less than 24 hours. So that's
So, and I confirm there was a question about, does it read coming in and out? It only reads cars coming in. So what happened was when in Nassau Bay, when they contacted PD, they put the license plate on the flock system, and it was picked up immediately in Houston. So really good stuff. Really good stuff.
I've heard a lot of good stories about the foxes.
Yeah.
It deterred a lot of naturally catch people that it's not supposed to be on the street.
That's exactly right. I actually have a belief that tools like that, I can't say it would, but the police having knowledge of somebody who has a criminal warrant out for them that are in a car that maybe just speeding, whatever, that they really have immediately as to what's going on with that person, and letting them know before even a violation that you got somebody in town that's that potential bad actor. So I like that a lot. So and it's working, and it ties in with others. In fact, I gave credit because he was here. He was sitting where Sarah was sitting. This was brought up about 5 years ago, and we really didn't have the money to do it. And Glenn Venerables actually wrote to council just saying, hey, we should really revisit this, and we've changed the financial situation where we could afford it, and it's because of his personal initiative. And I'll give James credit too. He's been a big supporter of things around the police and police tools, that we resurrected it and we implemented it within about not even a year, which is moving pretty quick for a city. So I'm really pleased with it, very pleased. Let's see. Something that's personally very important to me, even though I think he may be a little jealous, is the city elections. Of the 4 positions, there are 3 that are unopposed, and there is one that is opposed.
Democracy has a price.
Just saying. So we will have an election, and the incumbent on council is James Abbey, Councilman Abbey, and the individual who is looking to challenge him is Haley Ewell, who's the Ewell family has young kids that moved in the past, I think 5 years. Don't get me exactly, but that's what I understand. But the other 3 are not.
The other 3 are not contested. So.
Not contested at all. So we have position 4.
Oh, I thought you were looking for the word. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I was just filling in the blanks.
Yeah. I did the converse. They're unopposed, but that one's
I didn't
contested.
hear you say
But that works. I'm just trying to think of anything else.
Our animal shelter's full, so we got a special.
That's what
and then there's one living at my house. So if
Oh,
anybody
really?
needs a dog,
Yeah.
he's
Please visit,
adorable.
Did you want to talk about that?
Oh, yes.
You should.
So we have a special going on. You adopt a dog, you get 2 free cats. So
And it also, if you adopt a cat, you get 2 free dogs.
yeah.
It works both ways.
Yeah. And so just recognizing 3 officers, Sergeant Jason Bain, Corporal Mike Cavazos, and Officer CJ Kreider. They received awards for life-saving awards this last council. Some of the things that they did, responded and saved some lives. So they got an award. So I'd like to just and that's in this here too. So you like to see them.
Yep. And then the other thing is, particularly for business owners, I don't know if you know, and it's in there. There's the one that's the red. There's the Boy Scout Troop 1966. They have a service that they will do where they will come out and install the ability to put a 10-foot flagpole on each of the days of remembrance, specifically Memorial Day, Independence Day, Patriots Day, and Veterans Day, so that you can fly the colors of our military, and based off honoring them. And there is a email which is flags@troop1960.org. It's right there. So if you want that either at any of your businesses, if you want it on your property, both commercial or residential, these guys are specifically organized from Nassau Bay. We have a few people outside, but it's primarily a Nassau Bay Boy Scout troop, and so I recommend supporting them if you can. So I think they do a great job. And then the last is I want to put just a message out there. We've got a very unknown board, which is called the TERS and the RDA, and that's a complicated acronym for a redevelopment zone, or redevelopment zone board for reinvestment. It's a tool that we have in conjunction with some of the other committees that give powers to be able to help redevelop a targeted geography. And we've got some old, what I call obsolete buildings that have seen the better parts of their useful life, and we're targeting to work with developers to see what we can do there. So this board, which has been fairly inactive since we did this town center, so this building, the Marriott, and the whole street pretty much between Point Lookout and Upper Bay Road on Space Park and Saturn was all utilizing these tools back in, they were created when I was mayor before, like in 2002, but the real use came around in 2008, 2010, and it caused a complete redevelopment of this area. So that activity is coming up. I would really like to see people take a look and participate, because it'll be about some pretty important areas that are the waterfront part of Nassau Bay. So that input and that advice is definitely needed, and I want to put a plug. The other is there's the Animal Shelter Advisory Committee. For the animal shelter, the state mandates that there's a 5-member advisory board, which they're prescribed at least 3 of the 5 as being either the person who runs the animal shelter, like Troy, a veterinarian, and some others. I don't know exactly. 2 others, but there's a couple of seats that are meant to be part of the community, just so that those who are volunteers or those who have been involved with the animal shelter can be on this. The council has all the information to be within the state regulations of that, because that's an important one. I'm trying to think.
Hey, speaking of that Marriott area, did they ever decide what to dedicate to Chris Reed?
Absolutely. So that's been we actually had a resolution read for where it's going. So if you come out here and you see where the water fountain display is, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're looking at the Marriott, if you look to the left, you see the fallen officers, which we've had Kayla, Sergeant Sullivan, who was killed in the line of action. There's the memorial for those on the exact same bed, only on the right side, which is symmetrical, is where Chris Reed's plaque's going to go. And the Reed family involved with what they'd like to see there, because it's right. So they've actually worked with the garden club. They wanted to have yellow and blue flowers for Nassau Bay. So they got there, and their son
Purple.
Yeah, wanted purple. You know, so you're going to see in the front around the plaque is going to be yellow and blue, and the back side's going to be purple. And we've already done those. They also we're gonna tile the inside of the perimeter of the bed to be because Chris was a alum from Notre Dame, and you know, just like on a clock, you got 12, 6, 3, and 9 as there. So if you look at that bed at the 12 and 6 is a tile that is a fighting leprechaun. All right, and at the 3 and 9 is going to be a specific tile that is the insignia of the 82nd Airborne. So in honor of his military service.
Have like a dedication day or?
You're a great straw man. So yes. So what? No, but this is I got to say these over and over again so the word gets out.
Yeah.
We've set a target with the Reed family because he was one of the most responsible for the launching of the street eats. So we are going to have the commissioning of the Chris Reed plaque, hopefully by
maybe into April.
We try to say before April 18th.
Yeah.
We're trying to organize that. It's got to be the end of April because the family has before the 18th. But it's going to be a street eats, you know, that we're going to do, and we're going to commission it. You know, maybe get a Corbel bottle or something like that. I don't know, but it's but yeah, that's what the plan is.
Yeah. So we got the special lights were ordered. They're custom for that, and then I just received the 82nd Airborne tiles, and so I'm hoping the Fighting Irish will come in this week. I already met with the contractor that will be doing all the tile work, and then the street guys are going to be mounting everything and supporting everything with the new pole. It's going to look really good.
We had to replace the pole. hate to say it, but we had to replace the pole.
Yeah.
But it's all cleaned up. You did a good job cleaning everything up.
Yeah.
And it's going to be, we looked at it, it's going to be where the base of the plaque is going to be about 3 feet high. So it means it's going to go to about not quite total. But when we looked at it and did the measurements, it really looked great with the memorial on the one side and the plaque on the other because they were about the same height that's going to be there. So hopefully you'll see something like that come. Yeah. My bet is the next 2-3 weeks you'll actually see it.
Yeah, that's going to be kind of cool. Yeah,
and they want the sago palms to stay. There's one that kind of is dead. We're going to take off, and that really makes the spot for it. So it'll be kind of in a pocket with the trees and then the flowers and the lights and that. It's going to look spectacular. Yeah. Family is ecstatic. So.
And I'll be as we start on the construction and the progress. I'll be sending them pictures, and then trying to do a little thing special for them. So we're pretty excited.
They feel extremely involved, which is a good thing. That's a good question.
Yeah. That's all I have, Mayor.
I'm trying to think. James, anything? Any other questions? Sarah?
I have a comment. This is first off with mayors and everybody is gold to me. I have so much information that I think is most of all, I think the city sound like have good leadership to continue to improve the city and not just that and try to enhance the surrounding the area. Yeah. So that's a very good thing that I can hear.
We do, again, I'll restate every second and fourth Friday and Saturday. Friday at 9 o'clock, at 10 o'clock, we do this. And we some fun things come out is like we heard from a citizen that told us yesterday that there's been a differential, a one that's a disadvantage differential of windstorm insurance for Nassau Bay citizens. So we're going to look into that. So that's what one of these things that we look at our citizens as being eyes and ears for us too. So we can go and fix what needs to be done. And then a curious one from a resident on Kings Tree Lane said, "What's the story behind in what we call the power towers?" Which, if you look on the side where Nass Road 1 is, those 3 buildings that look alike. They're in the commercial area. There's a grenade statue that he goes, "There's got to be a story there." And I don't know the story, but he's challenged us to find out what it is. So if anybody knows, I'd be, they could make my search less. I would be real appreciative, because I don't know the story. I know it was there, but I don't know the story either. So, but he wants to know the story. All right.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Please come
All
back.
right.
Please come back.
Thank you.
Yeah, very
So-
nice to meet y'all.
Yeah, nice to
All right.
meet you too.